So welcome all in another tutorial of Abacus. In this tutorial we will basically talk about how can we use infinite boundary conditions using CIN 3D8 elements. So let us just directly start modeling. So what I am going to do is I am going to model a 3D part. So I am trying to use a basic load or a footing type of load on top of soil, and what I am trying to do here is that this soil will be having an infinite boundary at the bottom, and on the other side, four sides, it's just a roller boundary. So let's just start creating this part. So I'll call it top, and 3D deformable solid using extrusion. Approximate size will be 1 meter. Let's call it 2 meter. So this is the soil size. Now we'll create 1 meter by 1 meter. So click on 1. So 1 meter by 1 meter section with a depth of 1 meter. So this is a 1 meter by 1 meter cube, 1 meter by 1 meter by 1 meter cube. So that's what we are modeling. Now what we want to do is we just want to copy this model, and we'll call it bottom. Okay, so we'll call it bottom, but we'll change the extrusion size to 0.2 meter. So this will be the part which will be having an infinite boundary. So these are two parts which we are going to use. Now let us go to property assignment, and let's go to property assignment and create a property, create a material. So I'm just going to call it soil, and with the general formulation of density, let's give it a density of 2000 kilogram per meter cube, and elastic properties, let's give it a Young's modulus of 30 megapascal and Poisson's ratio of 0.4. So these are the adequate options which we can generally use. Now for the plasticity, we can go with the Mohr Coulomb plasticity. Let's call it a clay soil. So give it a friction angle of about 15 degree, and dilation angle for our consideration give it 0.5 degree. And cohesion will be high, so we'll call it a cohesion of 60 kilopascal, and tension cutoff can be given almost similar, but however with basing it on the friction angle of 15, it should be much higher because tension cutoff is C cot phi. So we can give it 60, but it should be more. So for right now we'll use the tension cutoff equal to the cohesion. So that's our soil properties. Now we'll assign the materials to whatever parts we have created. Now while assigning the material, we'll have to create the section first. So I forgot it, so we can create it right now. So I'm going to call it soil section, homogeneous solid section based off of made up of soil material. So yes, to the top part as well, we'll create the same section, assign the same section which was created. Now let's go to assembly and move both our parts. First let's move the top and click on apply, and move the bottom, auto offset, and click on OK. Now what we will do is we'll translate this part under the part which is soil. Click on OK. Also we will move both of this part to the origin. So making this point as origin, we'll move this like that, and this is the final model we have. Now we'll go to step module, and we will create a because we are using soils type of analysis, we'll create a geostatic step, and we'll click on NLGeom on. Or what we can do is instead of going into that much complexity, I'm just going to use a dynamic implicit formulation with nonlinear geometry on, and initial increment size of 0.1, and minimum will be 0.0005 0001. So 0.001 will be the minimum, and maximum will be 0.1. Yeah, so that's how we are going to approach this problem. and the overall time period is 1. Yeah, so this is the time step. Dynamic implicit formulation will be used in our calculation. Now we'll go for the interaction. What we will do is that there are only two surfaces, the bottom's top surface and the top's bottom surface. So let's create a surface in the part itself, the bottom's top, this one, click on done, and let's go to the top part and create a surface. We'll call it bottom. I'll rotate it and select the bottom surface, click on done. We'll go to interaction again. Now in the interaction we can just tie the surfaces. We can click on tie constraint and click on just without naming it, click on continue and move it here. We want the surfaces to be selected, so bottom and top. The master surface will be the top surface, so let's just switch the context. The master surface will be top because load will be getting transferred from the top to the bottom surface. So this is it. Click on OK. Now we have done the interaction as well. Now we'll go to load module. In load module, what we will do is we will create a surface load. We'll call it a pressure load in step 1 and click on continue. We will select the surface individually and click on done, and we'll just apply a very small load of 100 Newton. Click on OK. So this is our load, and now what will we do? We'll go to mesh. I guess before going into mesh we have to assign the boundary conditions. So let's just create several boundary conditions. So what we are going to do here is that we want to assign axisymmetric displacement and rotation boundary condition to our sides, vertical sides. So let's go with it. So this side and this side, this side, this side, this all should be roller boundary condition. So we'll select all of them by clicking shift and clicking all of them, and we'll call it roller. Click on done, and what we are going to do here is that we want them to have deformation in z direction but not in x and y direction. So we'll click on u1 and u2 because this will be 0, and we will control ur3 based on this. So we are allowing z direction motion in z direction or deformation in z direction. This is u3. We are not controlling it, and ur and u2, ur1 and u2 are the rotation in based on x and y axis. So we are not controlling them as well. So click on OK. So this is the boundary condition which we have applied. Now we'll create another boundary condition for the bottom part. So we'll create a symmetry anti-symmetry condition and click on the bottom surface, this one. Click on done and call it Encaster boundary condition. Okay, so this is it, and we'll just finish this load module now. Now we'll go to mesh module. We'll go to part top. We don't want anything else for it, so we'll just click on OK and assign the mesh. And if you want to see what type of mesh is being assigned, you can just see it's C3D8R. So it's basic mesh. Now we'll go to the bottom part, and we have to assign infinite mesh to the bottom surface, and this mesh should open towards the bottom end. Okay, so what we will do is we'll first change the element type of this material to something like which we can replace later on, like let's call it acoustic mesh. We can use cohesive mesh as well. So however the input file will not run, we'll go with acoustic mesh for right now. Click on OK, and we will go to mesh controls and use the assign stack direction method or sorry, we'll go to mesh control and we'll go to the sweep option, because that's what we want to do. Because if we are going with the structured mesh, it will not be properly stacked in that direction. So we'll use the sweeping method and assign the stack direction to the bottom surface. Click on yes and click on OK. Now we will create a mesh and click on OK. So we will go to assembly and see that our mesh is generated. Now we'll go to job and we'll create a job. We'll call it test1. Click on continue, click on OK. Now we'll see the working directory. Yeah, so we'll write the input. So this input has been written. Now we will go to the working directory. Okay, so in the working directory we will see that we have an input file, test1.input. We'll just edit it with the Notepad++, and we'll go and find the AC3D8 which we have assigned the mesh as the mesh element. So we can see here it is. We'll replace it with CIN3D8. So that's what we want to replace it with. So we'll replace it with this name. So it will be a infinite C infinite 3D 8 noded mesh element. So it will be an infinite mesh once we do this replacement. So we'll save this input file again. Now what we'll do is we want to see if we have done it correctly. So we'll import the model again, and we want the input file to be imported. So it will start importing. Now you can see if our mesh has correctly assigned. Yeah, you can see that bottom surface has been now an infinite mesh, because we cannot see the color difference. Okay, so this is the way you can use infinite meshing. And what you can do here else is that you can create a job for this, call it test11 and click on continue for this input file, and you can just click on data check to see if we have done anything wrong or not. So let's wait for this data check. So you can see that after some time this data check has been completed and it doesn't give out any error. Basically that means that our model has been modeled correctly and there are no error. It was anyway a simple model, so there were a lot less chances of error. So we can just submit this model for the analysis and click on OK and wait for the analysis to complete. So after some time we can see that the analysis has been completed, and we'll go to the results and see what are the analysis results. So this is the stress. We can look into the deformations. The deformations basically in U3 direction are quite clear. At the top surface we are having maximum -2 to the power 4 or 0.2 mm deformation, and at the bottom you can see which is the infinite layer anyway. So we are having almost 0. So what you can do else is maybe in the next tutorial I will show you how to define the infinite layers on the sides of this type of structure. But we'll finish this tutorial here. Thank you.